the longest relationship you're ever going to have is with yourself. And if you don't get that right, you're stuffed. So how we interact with ourselves on a daily basis actually impacts our entire life. If you're one of those people who has a cheer squad in your head, then you're going to find life easier than those of us that have hard taskmasters in our head and give ourselves a hard time. And for that reason, I'm going to talk a little bit about self-talk. My suggestion with a relationship with yourself, the first thing you need to look at is this self-talk. Because how you speak to yourself totally changes the way your life unfolds. If you're constantly beating yourself up and you're constantly sort of thinking the cup's half empty, then you're going to be constantly feeling like life isn't on your side. And if you notice that, incredibly, when you start to change that within yourself, when you start to just go, I may not have enough, but at least I have some. When you start to kind of go, I'm not going to be that mean to myself today. I'm glad you tried. I know it didn't work, but that's okay. That sort of commentary, that kindness of talking to yourself in that way, that starts to change how you feel. And your feelings are actually the thing that goes out into the world, because when you feel good or you're feeling more peaceful or not as upset with yourself, the world feels it back. Like, you know those people that you just want to go to their shop or their coffee shop, because when they go, you just feel better when you speak to them because they lift you up. And then sometimes you don't want to go to a particular place, you don't want to go to a particular friend because you know they're just going to talk about things that are hard. And in Australia we say this thing, Debbie Downer. Just, somebody who's talking about negative things, hard things, oh, it's also hard. And when you're doing that with yourself, it makes your life a lot more difficult. So rewrite that script of how you speak to yourself. It's really going to change your life. The other huge life-changing moment in your relationship with yourself is when you stop comparing yourself to others. Social media has really made it even harder for us. Although we're used to comparing ourselves to others and saying, why don't I look like the Joneses, or why don't I have that easy job, or whatever it is, social media now makes it even more impossible. Because when we're looking at pictures and videos online that are really polished, and we can look at people's lives and we get this glimpse and this idea of a person, but we're not seeing the truth of the whole self. We're only seeing the bits that they're choosing to show us. And we don't choose, like most people don't choose to show the really raw moments all the time. And if we did, we'd find it difficult to watch anyway, And so what happens when we see these polished lives, we start to think our life isn't enough, that we're not enough. So please be aware when you start to compare yourself to others. The last topic I wanted to talk about in terms of the relationship with the self is the positive side of life. A lot of us are kind of trained, I think, in a way, to really think about the things that are no good, the things to fix, like I've got to clean up, or I'm having a problem at work. And we talk about those with our friends and we go on and on about it. But what we don't tend to do is look at the positive things. We really forget to think about, the things that we enjoy doing and then doing it more, or how wonderful, that yesterday was, or, we lose those opportunities. And it's really sort of tied up with this practice of gratitude that you probably hear people talking about. And it's also kind of like a mindfulness practice to work out what makes me feel good. What do I like doing in my life? How is my life enhanced if I do those things regularly? And how can I actually find things that I like that are really simple things, like I love having a cup of tea in the morning, or I really enjoy making myself nice food, or I really enjoy it when I walk in the bedroom and my room is tidy and my bed is made, so I'm going to do that for myself every day. Things like that are really important, but we don't realize how important they are. And when we start putting that into our life and we find time for that, it's like we're telling ourselves, you're worth it. and that's a really important thing in the relationship. It's just, you're worth having my time to make sure your life is more improved. And the last thing I want to talk to you about is kindness. Learning what is kind. How can I be kind to myself? It's not about being self-indulgent, as I've talked about before on this channel. It's about how to actually sit instead of getting upset and just like, oh, you didn't do what you said you're going to do today. It's about like, how can I like go, oh, yeah, it's difficult you didn't get that done today, but that's all right. Let's try it for tomorrow. And just find that way of, what is kindness? Kindness is a feeling. It's a way of being. And it's such an important subject that I'll actually do a whole video just on kindness, because when you think about, for instance, the Dalai Lama and mindfulness, that's all about kindness, loving kindness for the self and the world and all sentient beings. And it transforms your life. It really does. So in summing up, I'm really hoping that this video and my little taking time to share some of the knowledge I've had over the years of self-development experience and all the clients I've had with my coaching will support you to lead a much more fulfilled and peaceful life for yourself. I'd really like to hear from you, and I'm really interested, what's the takeaway you get from this video? If you've watched this all the way through, you've obviously found it useful. So please let me know, what are you going to try? And if you try it and you remember, I'd love to hear from you. How did it work? What was your experience? And maybe together we can grow and learn and support one another by interacting on this channel and just, supporting one another to really work hard on the relationships with ourselves and grow our life into this beautiful rose garden that we can just find peace and some joy in. So thanks for watching, like and subscribe, and see you soon.